you sort of have me switch. Like, we'll just say, persons like me are very interested in no, we're new, don't have any preconceptions about it, but the idea that they're just talking on the they have a show on it, and there'll be a documentary on nuclear power and building more nuclear power plants as the actual clean energy for the future solution. Um, right. I mean, you have me switch. I mean, maybe you do know what your narrator is thinking. I mean, a person who wants to find out, like, first of all, okay, person who wants to find out. I mean, even Ralph. I mean, even you know, when, but it's not on. I mean, intentional. I mean, he even Ralph Nader said, "Well, I don't want to play like you know." It's very hard. It's very hard to find out anything, but I mean, let me put. I said, look, we're. I mean, it's you know, one person. I mean, these are all serious people, but I mean, he said, you know, well, we're blessed with all these resources. Like, what if we just conserve? You know, like, can't we just conserve? And and someone said, well, that's like a fool's errand. I mean, I mean, that's kind of like saying you could. I mean, just no. I mean, that doesn't. There's not enough there, but it doesn't sound. I mean, we're not conserving. I mean, we're not. I mean, even you. That's not like into the. That doesn't think long term. Like, we're not. I mean, it's not. There's everything's finite. I mean, but except nuclear power, I guess. But then even Ralph Nader, who it's interesting. I was talking about the head of the Department of Political Science at the New School, like the sort of problems I had in the graduate school. But wait a minute, he thought very poorly of Ralph Nader, which is interesting. A guy like that's a serious sort of like left wing school. I mean, they don't think people like I don't think much of Ralph Nader. And what he just said, I mean, for someone who's that involved, he runs for president. Like I mean, I thought he's supposed to be a serious person. He just said, well, I don't want to play. One person indicated that there were no that Chernobyl, and there were not only were there no fatalities, but he did something like someone badly it took something as badly put together as the Soviet Union to like lead to such a disaster. But then Ralph Nader said, "Well, I'm not playing Russian roulette. We shouldn't be playing Russian roulette with that safety of the public. That's not an intelligent thing to say for someone who's either really looking that he would say something, thoughtful. I mean, he's been in he's this, but maybe what. I mean, I don't know what to think of him, but right off the bat, I mean, why is he? That's the kind of thing he says. I mean, that's not a serious way to talk or anything. I mean, but I mean. Right. I mean, it would be hard. I mean, it's good that this is a topic because I know there's a lot of political movements that are. It's worth saying, just as a person who doesn't know, this is not my what I didn't prep to do an activity about this, but part of why I was interested in the fact that the LaRouche movements there, we're saying nuclear power plants the way I see that he founded the Labor Party, and it was that's to the extent that you want to categorize things as left and right. That's they're from the standpoint of the public, so to speak, like that's that's far, would be far. They're sort of far to the left in the public's perception of things. I mean, he founded the Labor Party. Very often when they're protectionists. I mean, that's not. It's coming from basically what would be the insult would be hurled at them as a far left wing. It's not an. I mean, that they are. I mean, they're on the left in the sense of people thinking left and right, and that they believe that if you live in objective reality, building more nuclear power plants. That's the fact that was coming from a organization that would be perceived as very far to the left is what got me interested. So that's one. But I mean. I want to, the person would like to know more. I'm glad it's being brought up on mainstream media because it's serious. I mean, it also sounds logical, like, but I'd like to know more. But when you person like of that who has, would expect more. That's the kind of thing he's gonna say. Like, I don't want to play Russian roulette with people's safety. Like, I mean, that's not really serious thing to say. And I never thought of what was just about accidents of nuclear power. He took someone much smarter than him said, that it took something as badly put together and managed as the Soviet Union to create such an incident. But they're not. They're talking about it. It's not. It's why you had me switch. It's not worth listening to. I'm not going to get informed watching that. But it's part of what I would just assume, and it makes sense, is that an earlier generation who lived through the Cold War and like when I mean my family too, people were afraid of nuclear war. There was like I mean, I could see like the association with nuclear, and then there was like a Chernobyl accident. So, but the whole idea that there was just sort of an anti-nuclear weapon. We were very frightened of nuclear weapons at the time. You can see how people just like the whole idea of nuclear power plants, right? Being for an older generation, sort of being react. I could see that, but when we're sort of in a time where people from my generation have sort of like a clean slate as far as what nuclear power means or whatever what it signifies. But no, I mean when you got someone like when Ralph Nader. And I can't believe but that's how he. No, I guess he's why. Well, just because he like runs for president and is building a political party and this and that. I mean, no, I mean maybe he's not. He's like that the head of the political science department at the New School. He had nothing nice to say about it. He really thought poorly of him. Matter of fact, the fact that he was, what he said. I guess if you want to see yourself run for president, I mean, if you want to see yourself run for president, you can, he was, that he sort of blocked. He should have dropped out when it was Gore Bush. But I mean, so those are serious people on the left, like don't have any respect for Ralph Nader. I could see why, but no, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't learn anything from this. I mean, I can't learn anything from this, but certainly interested in it. But